1001 Spikes by 8-Bit Fanatics is what will happen if archaeology was less about solving riddles and exploration, and more about stumbling into the deadliest places, carefully dodging traps that will slaughter an unprepared traveler. This game has often been compared to La Mulana, Spelunky, and even to some extent, I Wanna Be the Guy. With its retro look and soundtrack, this game reminds me of a way older game on the Commodore 64 called Rick Dangerous. It even had a similar premise. You were an adventurer looking for treasure while avoiding the most devious and unfair traps. 1001 Spikes has a pretty similar mentality. The title screen jokingly says the copyright of this game goes from 1985 to 2014. It has the looks and sound of a game from 1985, the gameplay of a game from 1985, but it has the game design mastery of a game from 2014. This is a very brutal and unforgiving platformer, but unlike some of its peers, there is a method to all of the madness. And once you start noticing all these touches in the game design, this is where you see there's a lot more to 1001 Spikes than meets the eye. This game rewards the patience of the player and punishes whoever wants to treat the game as a race and try to plow through it as fast as possible. If you rush in head first, you will constantly die to traps that appear seemingly at random, and you will most certainly write the game off and say it's awful. But as you keep playing the game, you'll start putting the pieces of the puzzle together and see what is likely to cause your demise. The most basic element of this philosophy comes from background elements spread in the stages, like bushes and dried up skeletons. Bushes always indicate safe zones, while the skeletons usually mean danger and that you shouldn't stand here. There's a very intricate set of rules the players must learn, and most of the game challenge lies on the fact that the game will tend to always throw new rules at you. You will usually end up looking for certain threats, but another obstacle that you miss will be the one causing your downfall. You always have to stay on your guard. The level design does a very good job of scaling up the odds and the insanity more and more. The first few levels will tend to have a tamer set of traps, but their positioning will still catch most new players off guard and will teach them to pay closer attention. Even in the earlier stages, you will still die really often. At least dying is not a big setback. Levels are short, and the game offers a short and sweet death screen. And yeah, if you want to hurry things up, you can skip it. The only part of the game which I didn't like was Stage 4, the Lava Temple. I didn't like it as much because it feels like it violates some of the rules the game have established. For instance, the start point is no longer a safe zone. Also, one of the levels pulls off a cheap move and plays spikes under the ending, which there's no way to see coming unless you saw the name of the stage, which requires you to go back to the world map. Outside of Stage 4, the game is hard and unforgiving, but not cheap. The game frustrates at times, but never so that you'll want to give up. There's nothing like dying a lot on a really hard level and finally managing to beat it. And when you're done with the game, what better thing to further test yourself than the post-game content? You're shipped off to Antarctica where many more levels await you, even more brutal than what the main game offered you. My only complaint with Antarctica is that the music and scenery never changes, thus offering a limited perspective on the progress you're making. It's also really lengthy, offering over 24 levels to beat, but otherwise these levels are a fine addition to the game and are fun. The game also features local multiplayer, but after playing through the main game, I'm not really sure as to how playing the game with other people will add much. Levels are often very claustrophobic, so navigating them with friends seems like a one-way trip to frustration. Luckily, the game has other game modes which will lead to a better experience with friends, such as the Tower of Nanar mode, which gives 1001 Spikes a more arcade-like feel. The game also has a Lost Level mode, which consists of levels that were cut from the main game. While these levels aren't the same quality as the main levels, it still is worth checking out, even if it's just to get some extra in-game money to buy extra costumes for your characters. This brings me to the cast of playable characters we have in the game. As you collect gold skulls and money, you can unlock new characters in the game or costumes for Eben Hawkins, the main character of the game. This is where you can further see the attention to detail that the game has. Every character have its own intro and ending, theme song, and set of abilities. Characters such as Commander Video from the Bit Trip series, Curly Brace from Cave Story, and Junie from Knit Stories are playable in the game. But my favorite cameo character is President Thompson from the game Tempura of the Dead, which is a previous 8-bit Fanatics game. Who would want to play as a double-jumping, Tommy gun-wielding president that certainly wasn't meant to be a parody of Obama? Eben Hawkins' costumes, which are meant as homage to other games, give him new abilities, such as surviving a hit, make him faster, and so on. The presentation of the game is very nice and gives the game an even more cohesive feel. The graphics of the game definitely look like they're from 1985, but remain very clean and pleasant to the eye. The game shows its story by the use of Ninja Gaiden-like cutscenes, even borrowing some of that game's iconic moments. The dialogue and story also are entertaining and funny and elevate the game to new heights. The soundtrack adds more energy to the game. It is catchy, very chippy, and the best part of it are the sped up, more intense remixes that play when the exit is open, which cranks the nervousness factor up to 11. All in all, 1001 Spikes is a very nice transition from Xbox Live indie games to other platforms. It's a pleasant surprise that came out of nowhere, and it is one of those games that just gets better and better the further you play it. It's not perfect right now. There's definitely a few weird glitches to the game that are befuddling, such as the attack button making your character move for no reason glitch. The game window doesn't always want to show up in window mode, and when the game was first released, some people couldn't even launch the game. Hopefully these issues won't get in the way of a game that definitely deserves more attention, as it offers a fantastic playthrough. The price may seem steep at $15 or $10 on Steam if you own either Cave Story Plus or Night Sky, but if you want a challenging and stimulating platformer that will beat you over the head and reward you well for your victories, it's hard to find a better game around right now. There's a surprising amount of content in this game, and most of it is of high quality. Give it a shot!